does not go to 1, it goes backwards. So it's going to the left. So counterclockwise, we're going to draw a little arrow. It's going to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left, and then back around. Okay. Clockwise goes to the right like a clock, and it goes back around. Okay. So the rules repeat themselves. So for 90 degrees counterclockwise, what is the rule? Negative y, positive x. If you don't remember that, it's on the board. You should look at that. You need to remember it by the EOC. This will 100% be on there. For 180,
Negative x.
negative x, negative y. The last one flips, but the back is negative. So it's y, negative x. Okay, so those are our rules. We're going to do one on the front together, and then we're going to do one on the, or two on the back. So let's go down to number 5 on the front. Number 5 gives you a rectangle. It says determine the location of the rectangle of a rotation of 270 degrees clockwise. So 270 degrees clockwise is the same as going 90 counterclockwise. What is the same rule? What's the rule?
Y.
Negative yx. So you should write out the coordinate points because that's the easiest way to do it. This is annoying, but it's okay. Rotations are the only ones that are really annoying. X was at 2, 2. Where was y? 8, 2. What about w? 8, negative 2. And then z? 2, negative 2. Okay, so you are following the rules. The rule is 2 steps. You flip the coordinate, x becomes y, y becomes x, so you flip it. And then the front symbol changes its sign. If it's positive, it turns negative. If it's negative, 2 negatives would make a positive. So x is pretty simple.
2, 2.
Yep, negative 2, 2. Because if I flip it, it's 2, 2. And then I just add the negative in the front. For y, I flip it. And I add the negative in the front. So negative 2, 8. What about w? Positive 2, because if I flip it, it's technically negative 2, 8, but I have to change that front symbol so it turns positive. You can literally leave it positive. I'm going to make a plus sign so that way you can see, like, I changed it. It was negative, it turned positive. And then what about the last one? 2, 2. So take a second. We're going to plot our points. It's 270 degrees clockwise, so like a clock going around. It's moving 3 quadrants technically to the right, but it's like going underneath itself because it's 270 degrees. So it's going to be like moving 3 quadrants out. This is what we did on Friday. This is not new. We go slow through this chapter. This is the only one that we go really slow through because it is very important. And if you move really fast through this, people get really confused really quickly. Now, realistically, you should have did all this in middle school, but so 3 quadrants to the right, which is the same as going 1 quadrant the other way because it's 90 degrees. Counterclockwise would be the same as going 270 clockwise. So try number 6. So directly underneath it, it gives you the coordinates. Try number 6. You're going to go 180 degrees. Why does it not say clockwise or counterclockwise? It doesn't matter. So take a second, try number 6. Easy peasy. Thanks. So 180 is negative x, negative y. If it's positive, it turns negative. If it's negative, it turns positive. Negative, positive, positive, whatever. Easy, easy. Okay, so what's x?
Negative 6 times
Negative 6, negative 7.
2, 5.
And then 2, 5. And then z?
Negative 2, 4.
Negative 2, 4. That was easy. Nice. How do we feel? Do we feel okay? Okay, on the back side, there is a bunch of big graphs, and the quarter points are already done for you. So what you're doing is you are figuring out how much it was rotated. So on the back, whenever you have these crazy graphs, we're going to do the first one because it looks super crazy. This looks like craziness. So we need to write the rule that describes this, what happened. Whenever you have this, I would not look at the whole picture because I think it's confusing. I would pick one letter that's like out in the open. So what's one letter that's out in the open?
Yeah.
P or K. K is here, K is there. You could use K. P is more in the open, so I'm going to use P and P prime. P prime is where you're going. There are two correct answers because you can go clockwise or counterclockwise. It doesn't matter because they're the same. Okay, so do you want to go to the right and up and around, or do you just want to go to the left? Sure. If I go to the left, is that clockwise or counterclockwise? It is clockwise because you are spinning. If you start at 12 and you spin down and around, that is clockwise. So you're going around like a clock. So that's clockwise. And if I move one quadrant, is that 90, 180, or 270? 90. So you don't count where you start because people think it's like 1, because I'm in this quadrant, and then 2. You don't count like where you start when you're running a lap. It's like, I went here. So it's like 1 quadrant. So that's 90 degrees clockwise. Or 270 counter. That is also correct. So you could say or 270 counter. You don't have to say both, but technically both of those are correct. So try number 8, and then we'll do the pick one letter to look at. Try 8 and try 10. Try these two. Try 8, try 10. Okay, one letter. If it moves 1 quadrant, that's 90. If it moves 2 quadrants, that's 180. If it moves 3 quadrants, it's 270. $90 twice. What's 90 twice? Because each quadrant's like a neck or a right angle. It's like 90 degrees. Okay, what's 8? 180. That's what is it? Is it? Doesn't matter direction for 180. The 180 does not matter because you can go to the left, you can go to the right. Either way, it's jumping 2 quadrants. What about number 10? 180 also. So if I look at S, for example, to S prime, you're still jumping 2 quadrants. So that's still 180 degrees. Okay. Let's do one on our little mini sheet. That's you. Let's do 13. So 13 says you have a pre-image, which is the original image. Pre just means previous, so where it starts. A, B, and C. Determine the coordinates of the image after a ridge translation of, which is just a translation, ridge translation. So this is in vector form, like Despicable Me, okay? And then a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise. Because there's 2 things that are happening. Which one do I have to do first? The first one, because it is first. Okay, so we're going to do this first. What the heck does that even mean in vector form? Vector. Am I going left or right? I'm going right because it's x plus 2 because it's positive. So it's going right 2. And then the y part is -4. So is that up or down? So it's going down. So it's going to get smaller. So that's technically y minus 4. Okay, so we're gonna do that part first. For every single coordinate point, we're gonna do the first translation without the graph. So if A, actually, I'm gonna write it out first. So A was 1, 7. B was 3, 8. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So there's my coordinate points. Those are the original. If I was at 1, 7, and I'm adding 2 and I'm subtracting 4, where is A prime? 3, 3. Because you add 2 to the X, you subtract 4 to the Y. What about B prime? It was 3, 8. What is it? 5, 4. Yeah. Because you add 2, that makes 5. You subtract 4, that makes 4. And then C prime? 0, 4. So that's the first translation. That's my vector form, just left, right, up, down. The second part says I'm going to have a rotation of 90 degrees counterclockwise. What's the rule that I have to use? Negative YX. So I am not using the original. I'm using the new ones I just made. So there's 2 things that are happening. I have to flip it and I change the symbol in the front. So if I flip this and I change the symbol in the front, what would it be now? Negative 3, 3. What about B prime? Negative 4, 5. And C prime? Negative 4, 0. And then those are the final answers. Yeah. But usually on the EOC, they won't put a double prime. It'll just be like written like this. So that way it's like the final translation. So if you see the double prime, it just means there was 2 translations. If you see single prime, it's like, it still wants the final one. So if you want to put double or 1, it's fine. Try 14 real quick. So this is how it'll be on the EOC. They're not going to give you graphs. Yeah. Mhm. Plus 8. Yeah. So these numbers are going to be bigger. But that's okay. Have big numbers. That's why they wouldn't graph these, because they'll give you numbers in like the 20s or 30s. They don't want you to graph that. Mhm. Yeah, you're talking about like B, right? Yeah, it'd be like -2 -5, so that's -7. Okay, A prime was 0, 0, or A was 0, 0. If I go left 5 and up 8, where am I at? -5, 8. What about B prime? -7, 13, and then -12, 14. That's why typically whenever you don't have your graph, it's because they're big numbers. Okay, you're not going to want to graph that. It's just not cute. Okay, the next step, we're going to rotate it 180. It doesn't say direction because it technically doesn't matter. So what's my rule? -X, -Y. So all I'm doing is I'm not flipping it. It just changes signs. So what's my final A prime? 5, -8. What's the final B? 7, -13. And then C? 12, negative 14. Okay, so we're working on the rest of these. These are the hardest ones. You only have 2 left. You're gonna staple it and turn it in before you leave, and then you are working on your iExcel. Nope, you're doing the whole thing. Not skipping any.
Wait, so like on the original paper too?
Yep. It looks like a lot. I promise it's not a lot. It's not. It's not.